Hi, this week I really want to tell you about kales and cabbages because I know it's something that people struggle with in a box, and it's just really so simple. So here we've got 3 kales and 3 cabbages. They're all different varieties, but they all taste quite similar and can be substituted for each other in a recipe. So if you've got a Savoy and it calls for cavolo nero, you can substitute them very easily. And I've laid them out in sequence between, here we've got red Russian kale, which we put in the boxes a lot, and it's really the sweetest and most tender. And then we've got a January King cabbage, a regular green cabbage. This is the traditional kale, which we don't tend to use very much of, but it's what you'll find in a supermarket. A Savoy, and on the ends we've got cavolo nero. Cavolo nero is the most robust. It has quite an earthy, almost bittery sort of iron flavour, and it can take a lot of cooking. It's great in soups like borscht or caldo verde, which is a Portuguese soup. It's also, because it has a robust flavour, it's good with like chorizo. You can make, there are good recipes on our website for that. So these ones are more bitter and take more cooking. These ones are sweeter and take very little cooking and really just served simply with a knob of butter. This week we're going to concentrate on the cavolo nero, or black kale as we used to call it. And this is red Russian kale, and I'm just going to show you how to prepare them and cook them very simply. So cavolo nero has quite tough ribs to the leaf, and the easiest way to get rid of them, because you can't cook them, they're just going to be too tough and chewy, is just to grip them with one hand of the rib of the leaf, and the other hand just sort of pinch it off and just pull them away like that. It's really very easy to do. When you get down to these center leaves, they're really quite tender, and you don't have to bother stripping them. We can just chop those straight into the pot. If you're going to boil greens, whatever they are, a few things to remember are that you really should have quite a big pot, plenty of water, and make sure that it's at a rolling boil, and add a fair amount of salt, and that will help them to keep their color and flavor. And then plunge them in and try and get the water back to the boil as quickly as possible. You want to boil them quickly. So when the kales come back to the boil and boiled for 1 or 2 minutes until you think it's done, drain it into a colander and refresh it under cold water, and that'll stop it carrying on cooking and getting overcooked. Okay, and then squeeze out as much of the water as you can with your hands. Having boiled and strained your cavolo nero, it's great just like that, maybe with a knob of butter or squeeze of lemon, some pepper. Or if you're feeling a bit more ambitious, what Jane often does in the field kitchen, having wrung the kale out, is to chop it roughly, fry some garlic gently in olive oil or butter. Before it colours, add the cavolo nero. Some nutmeg added at the end is a good idea as well. It's really, really good. It's got a deep, earthy flavour. The bitterness is gone. I love this sort of thing with bangers and mash. I have even seen people serve cavolo nero like this as a kind of bruschetta on toast, actually, maybe with a bit of cheese on top. So with the red Russian kale, you can cook the whole thing, including the stems, particularly if you chop the bottom of the stem quite finely. In fact, the whole thing, I can really imagine this being eaten raw. We have even included the tiny little baby leaves in salads before. And because it's so sweet and tender, generally I wouldn't recommend boiling it. With the red Russian kale, it's best to steam it really briefly, and I think just serve it like that. So if you're looking for more inspiration or guidance on what to do with kales, or indeed what to do with the cabbages, do have a look at our website. There are loads of different recipes there.